Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of Costa. I'm your host. My name is Andrew Mwansa, sitting in for Costa Mwansa. As the countdown to the 2026 general elections begins, Zambia's youth movement is stepping up, determined to take leadership not only at parliamentary level, but also at the very top, the presidency. One of the constituencies to watch is Kabushi, a political hotspot once dominated by the bulldozer Bowman Lusambo, later reclaimed by Bernard Kanengo of the UPND after a by-election that followed the nullification of the results. Now a fresh wave is building. Young entrepreneur Titus Chinga has thrown his heart into the ring, aiming to represent Kabushi in 2026. But the question is, can he win this election? And more importantly, what is his vision for the people of Kabushi? Titus Chinga is my guest on tonight's edition of Costa. He joins me to discuss his vision for Kabushi, but also weigh in on several matters involving our country. Mr. Chinga, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's edition of Costa.
Good evening to my brother, Mr. Andrew Mwansa, and our viewers outside there, those watching us on TV, on Facebook, Twitter, and any other channel they're using. We are grateful to be here, and thank you for the opportunity.
Well, let's begin off with knowing who Mr. Titus Chinga is before we can tackle the very important issues. Who is Titus Chinga?
Oh, thank you, my brother. Well, Titus Chinga, I was born in 1985 on the 9th of October at Indora Teaching Hospital, which was then called Indora Central Hospital. I was born for my parents, Mr. and Mr. Sandes Chinga, and my dear mother, Mrs. Mavis Nawira Sichinga. And then I grew up in Lubuto Township of Kabushi constituency, near Chetekero Hospital in Lubuto Ward. Then later on, I began my primary education at Kaere Primary School then, which is under Mkuba Ward. And then upon finishing grade 7, later on I moved into Lubuto Secondary School to do my secondary education. And then after my secondary education, I had to relocate from Mundola to Lusaka to pursue my university education and also to do some part-time works so that I can raise my school funds. Then during my school days, I was an entrepreneur at a very tender age. I was a marketeer at Masala Market, which helped me to raise my school funds and my school fees then. I remember by then I used to pay school fees. And then after coming to Lusaka, I was one of the few people who was privileged that before I actually did my formal employment, I did some volunteer service at MEF, Mindoro Economic Foundation Center, for 6 months. From 2025 January to about June 2005. And then later on, we are the people who built Ratson Blue Hotel. I used to work there as a supervisor, and then also did my part-time education at the University of Zambia in business administration. Then later on, I moved into Celtel then, which is Zen now. So Zen then, which is Airtel now, where I was a customer care executive. Then I went further to do my education at Mulungushi University, where I did my undergraduate degree in public administration. Then later on, I did my postgraduate at the very university, Mulungushi University in Kabwe. Upon completing my postgraduate university at Mulungushi University, I also now did my second master's in business administration from the University of Lusaka, UNLAS. Then also did Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, which is called CIUT, at Zamim in Emersdale area. Then later on, I joined RATSA. I worked as a manager in a number of stations. Then later on, I teamed up with other colleagues and formed some companies, which we call Grand 7, and also into mining activities and construction works. So this has been my journey.
You seem to have a very successful academic background. Why politics?
Oh, Politics is an interesting venture. You see, we are social beings, and by virtue of us being human beings, we are actually politicians. From my time I was a childhood, I think my classmates and my schoolmates, basically from grade 8 and grade 12, they can bear me witness that I've always loved current affairs. I've always had interactions with our people. Even after completing secondary school, I was voted into as the Luwuto Secondary School Alumni Vice Chairperson. From 2011 to today, I actually hold that position. So you can know, from that perspective, you can tell that I've always been a political animal.
That's interesting. Now, and let's come to Kabushi, the constituency that you want to run for. Let's begin off with the understanding that you have, of Kabushi. How is the political terrain, in Kabushi, and how well do you know Kabushi?
Well, Kabushi, I spent 20 years of my childhood, up to I'm turning 40 years now, living into Kabushi, working in the tail ends of Kabushi constituency. As I said earlier on that I was born in Luwuto Township. It is one of the wards of Kabushi. Kabushi has got 8 wards. Then later on, after 1993, when I was in grade 1, grade 2, we moved from Kabushi, from Luwuto into Kabushi, which is called Sugar Compound. It's also a ward between Kabushi ward and the Kaloko ward. We stayed there for a few years. Then later on, after my parents were entrenched, we moved into Masala Township, which is also another Masala and Skyways ward. So in these all 8 wards of Kabushi, I was privileged. Kabushi is very small in terms of size, but it is highly populated and centrally located. It's part of the location within Ndola, which has got 4 constituencies, which is on a central place, densely populated, and a very beautiful constituency. So growing up in Kabushi, as I said earlier on, that I was also a marketeer at Main Masala Market, where we had about 3 stands nearby here and Main Masala Market, where we used to sell cooking oil, salad, So we could move from Luwuto to Main Masala Market into Kabushi. So basically, Kabushi is in my fingertips in all the 8 wards of Kabushi, and they're interrelated. Let me just name them for the sake of clarity. Like we've got the Luwuto ward, which is the biggest ward. Then followed by Skyways ward, which is the second biggest ward in Main Masala. Then number 3, Main Masala ward. Then number 4, we've got the Toka ward. Number 5, we've got Kabushi ward itself. Number 6, we've got Mkoba ward. And then we've got KX there in Kafubu ward. Then we've got Toka ward. So all these 8 wards, they're interrelated. And our people are very loving people. And having grown up in Kabushi, they educated me. I was a Kamena boy by then. So I thought it was, look, as I grew up, since I'm still energetic and I'm still youthful and I've got the energy to serve my people, let me throw in the weight and hear the call of our people so that we can provide a service for them from 2026 to 2031.
That's interesting, and it's good to see how well you know Kabushi. You've mentioned all the 8 wards, of Kabushi. Are you contesting this seat as independent, or are you contesting and are you hoping that you'll be adopted under a political party?
Interesting. Well, the beauty about it is that what you've done now, for the past 4 years, we've been on the ground, monitoring, engaging the community through the churches, through the schools, through the markets, through the stations, through the clinics, in all walks of life. The kiosk stations, the tuntembas here and there. So what we did we told our people, look, for now, we want to sell this brand called Titus Sichinga. That's the reason why we even formed the foundation called Titus Sichinga Foundation, that we can give back to the community. We are still consulting our people, getting their views, hearing different opinions. That's the reason why, mostly as a foundation and as Titus Sichinga, I believe in engaging the stakeholders who are the church. So as we are now, we speak now, this is 31st of August 2025, up to December 31st. We'll be able to tell our people which vehicle we're using. But for now, we're still in the consultation stage, engaging in their views. We've got the UPND people wanting to talk to us, the PF people wanting to talk to us, the socialist party wanting to talk to us, the citizens for all the political parties are interacting. As we meet in church, as we meet in the community, as we meet in the bar pubs, we're discussing politics, knowing which vehicle should we use, what do our people want, how do we save our people heartedly. So we're trying to create a bond with the people of Kabushi through this name called Titus Sichinga.
Obviously, so you're saying that by December you should have made up your mind on which political party you're going to contest on. The Kabushi, in its own, or the Kabeba on its own, predominantly is a patriotic front, or prior to the 2021 general elections was a predominantly patriotic front, stronghold. In fact, all these 8 wards that you've mentioned, all of them belong to the patriotic front, and the councillors that are councillors of these wards are PF, councillors. You don't think contesting on the Patriotic Front ticket would give you much more credency and would increase the chances of you winning this election, owing to the fact that this predominantly has been a PF stronghold?
Thank you very much. Yeah, you're very right. Copper Belt in the previous elections, going by the election results, and all along actually, it has been a PF stronghold. Of course, in 2021, UPND did grab some seats from the Patriotic Front, and as you have put it, almost all the 8 wards of Kabushi constituency are owned by the Patriotic Front. But as you can see now, the Patriotic Front is still having issues, teething problems in terms of leadership at the top level. And in a democratic nation, you engage all the key stakeholders. All the councillors are my very good friend. We do relate very well. Even the current MP, we do chat, and all the members of the community. But in the election of 2026, the way I foresee them, and from what the views I'm getting from our people on the ground as we're interacting, is that our people will not care which political party somebody stands on. Their interest would be this animal person called Titus Sichinga. So it will be like each person goes for himself and God for us all. So basically, our people will not be following the political party blindly. They will look at a person, the caliber of a person, and what he can offer on the table. So based on that, that's why I thought, look, let me create more time, more engagements with the community, more views. As we do opinion polls, basically, I think I've been reading about 3 or 4 of us trying to vie for the position. So based on our names here and there, I think I'm performing very well. And we're hoping and trusting God that by the end of the year, we'll be able to tell our people which vehicle you're using.
So you don't think riding on a political party, has much more, you stand at a much more better pedestal than going alone? I'll give an example. Just 2 days ago, we were interviewing the Kwacha Member of Parliament of what had happened, a few weeks ago when the church acted like they don't know him. When we asked him how possible is it that he was going to win, owing to the fact that people don't know him, he said that for the UPND, they've got a strategy called the 4-way strategy, where they tell their supporters, or they tell the people, that the way you vote is you vote for the president and all the leaders contesting on the other 4, on the other 3 leadership roles. That is the MP, the mayor, as well as the councillor. And so the UPND have got that particular strategy. And that's how most of these members of parliament want to ride off the popularity of the president. So you don't think perhaps this would affect you if, for example, you go as independent?
Well, you see, yeah, the Kwacha MP, that was his opinion. But generally, in a number of general elections, for example, look at what happened in the Patriot Front in 2021 general election, where a lot of people were not adopted. And obviously, the student is independent. Some of them won, for example, like in Kana, in Kiti, Honorable Bini Wampundu. And also even Banamkubwa, just in there from a neighbor from Kabushi. The neighboring constituency there is Banamkubwa. If you look at Honorable Mwambazi, he was a PF constituency chairperson. He was not adopted, and then he went independent, and then he won. Wow. So the way I look at the people of Copper Belt, and the way I'm looking at it, this coming election, it's each one for himself and God for us all. So I know the political party will play a greater role in terms of sustainability, and also maybe in terms of financial help here and there. But basically, it requires the popularity of an individual person. That's what I'm saying. For me, between now and December 31st, my thinking is to engage the church, engage the marketeers, engage the community, engage all the stakeholders.
Most of the UPND members of parliament are saying that the 2026 elections will be one of the most easiest for them to win. And this is why they say that look, the increase in CDF has made things easier. CDF has been a game changer in this constituency, is that people are appreciating what CDF can do. And so when they come to the elections of 2026, they'll just be pointing at the things that they've done, the half posts that they've commissioned, the roads that they've built, and the schools that they've built. Don't you think the 2026 elections at parliamentary level are going to be very difficult, owing to the fact that government through the vehicle of the CDF has enabled members of parliament to work like never before through delivering, on some of the projects that of these constituencies?
Well, thank you very much. On that one, we used to give kudos to the current president, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, in the sense that he has decentralized the CDF, which is okay. The councils and the members of parliament have got at least 1 or 2 things to point at. But you see, the beauty of democracy is that the people of Zambia are aware that it is their money at work. For example, the Patriotic Front in 2021 general election, quite on Tepo Wabomba. The PF had a lot of infrastructure. Wherever you throw a stone, you find the infrastructure of PF. They built schools, they built airports, they built roads. But when it came to the general elections, the people themselves said, no, you've done your part, you've built here and there. But from our thinking, as the people of Zambia, we would want to change government. That's how the UPND won those elections. In the 2026 general elections, I usually give an example for the Kwacha itself, Kwacha constituency. Look at an MP. He's talking of CDF projects, but people in the church rejected him. That is what's happening on the ground. Most MPs, yes, people are aware, they can point at whatever CDF projects they've done, but when they want to change leadership, they're careless. What they believe in is that it's mango taipira. If you've done your part, I'll give an example of Kabushi itself. Kabushi constituency, in the past 20 years, each member of parliament has been serving one term. It's only Honorable Bowman Usambu almost went for the second term. But generally, Kabushi has been a one-term parliamentary level in terms of MPs. And we should thank each and every MP from Kabushi constituency who have done their part. So whatever Honorable Bowman Usambu left, I think Honorable Bernard Karemo picked up and has done his part. 2026, obviously, when I come in as Kabushi member of parliament, I also pick it up from wherever Honorable Bernard Karemo will leave from. So basically, for me, it's individual basis, individual brilliance, and how somebody markets themselves, and what practical ideas are people putting on the table. That's what people buy into. For the past 4 years, we've been on the ground. Almost every weekend, we've an activity in Kabushi, engaging our community, supporting our community, supporting our youth, offering some support here and there, identifying talent identification, engaging the community, engaging the schools. So in these interactions, you can tell that certainly victory is settled, and at parliamentary level, the elections will be highly competitive.
What challenges are in Kabushi that you want to address when you become member of parliament?
Thank you very much. Well, the greatest challenge of Kabushi, one, is the water reticulation system. It's quite challenging that despite Kabushi being an urban constituency in Ndola, the friendly city, we are still battling around with the water challenges. And as you all know, water is life. So that's the greatest challenge, which you have to engage the Kafu Water and Storage and the other key stakeholders, the business people, to come on board and see to alleviate this challenge. The other challenge is that of the hospital. Kabushi constituency has got no hospital. This morning before I left for Lusaka, I had a chat with my former teacher, and I'm grateful to all the teachers who taught me from all my schools where I went to. Look, he was saying, look, Mr. Sichinga, how practical is it that from Kabushi, our battle site is Kantoromba. We have to go to Ndola Teaching Hospital or Ndola Arthur Davison Hospital, which is far away from our area, to go for the mortuary for the patient. Somebody dies. Again, we have to pick the body from the mortuary to Kantoromba Cemetery. It's quite a challenge. So if we can have, from all the 5 clinics of Kabushi, which are Luwoto Clinic, Kabushi Clinic, Masara Clinic, and Main Clinic, if these clinics, one of them or 2 of them, we turn them into mini hospitals, where we can have our loved ones who are sick, or maybe who person who can stay in those mortuaries before they are buried. That's the greatest challenge in terms of transporting the dead bodies. Our colleagues are having a challenge in terms of transporting such bodies. Another challenge is that of the road network. The road network in Kabushi is in a pathetic condition. It's our prayer and hope that Urobi, the local authority, the private sector, and the government, through the Ministry of Infrastructure and the Road Development Agency, the RDA, to see to it that Kabushi is also given a fair share of road development. I'll give an example. Kabushi and Ndola Central, the neighboring constituencies, like in Copper and Dera and Luwoto Ward, there is a place called Zoo near Nyek there. If, for example, I know my brother Honorable Bernard Kanengo has done a pathway bridge. If we were to put our funds together, both CDF projects, we put them together, we share. We build a proper bridge where people can cross from Kabushi into Ndola Central. It can really cost about a few thousands or a few millions here and there, but in the long run, our people will have easier challenges in terms of movements from Kabushi into Ndola Teaching Hospital or into town, and also into Kantoromba. Yesterday on Saturday, I was attending a bar in Kantoromba. The road is also in a very pathetic condition. If our 2 members of parliament, let's say Kabushi constituency and Bonamkubwa, in fact there are 3 of us, even in Ndola Central, there's Twapia Ward there, there's the Bonamkubwa and also the Ruto Ward, where we bury our beloved ones. If we are to work on that road project, to put our funds together, so that road project can be in good condition, that can be a plus for our people.
Let's talk about how you intend to influence the utilization of the Constituency Development Fund. The UPND-led government increased CDF from 1.6 million, and now we are enjoying, hoping, over 36 million kwacha of Constituency Development Fund. Let's talk about how you influence the use, of this particular fund, because this is a major vehicle that you're going to use to deliver these things that you're talking about.
Well, thank you. We are grateful again to the President for the CDF projects, and also more grateful to our people, the WDC committees in all the 8 wards of Kabushi, and the Constituency Development Committee leaders. Because the development is now on our doorsteps. So me, as the area member of parliament, Titus, Sichinga as a servant, my role will be very simple. Just to sit down with our colleagues. Well, let's have a town hall meeting. For example, let's go to Kafu Ward. Let's go to Nyamu Secondary School. Let's call our leaders, members of the community. In this area, KX, Kafu Ward, what development activities we want us to start with? For example, with the water challenge in this area, where do we start from? Can we take part of the little man of the CDF? We venture into maybe having some boreholes, building some boreholes in public schools and also at churches, or we can have our people having a fair share of that resources. Kaloko Ward. In Kaloko Ward, we've got maybe one secondary school, we've got one primary school, which is Kaloko Primary School. Can we build up a borehole? We build up a public convenient toilet at the public space where people can be maybe paying a minimum amount so that they can have easy access to these facilities, the bathtubs, the bathrooms. The road project, we are 8 of us. Why can't you put all these funds together? Maybe create certain loads so that we all want to see development and want to have stakeholder engagement. The church, come on board. The marketeers. Kabushi constituency hosts the biggest market on the Copper Belt, which is Main Market. Main Market, it's a special place. How do we empower people, entrepreneurs? I used to trade at the National Market. I know the people standing at the National Market. Then some revolving loans, some revolving empowerments. How do we engage the people? Let's go to Ruto Market. The Ruto Market, how do we work as a team? The taxi drivers, the minibus drivers, how do we collaborate together? How do we bring development in Kabushi? So basically, my leadership will be that of consultative engagements, especially the WGC leaders, the Constituency Development Committee leaders, the church leadership, the marketeers, the community, and the clinics.
And you think that is what currently is missing with the current member of parliament? There's no consultation and engagement in terms of things that he wants to do, the things that he's doing now?
Well, my brother is not here to defend himself, but generally, from the way I look at things, when I compare his leadership and also leadership of Honorable Mwansa, I'm actually more privileged in the sense that I'm coming in, I have to learn something from how Honorable Mwansa did his leadership when he was serving people of Kabushi and how Honorable Kaneng was done his part. So basically, as I come in, I have to improve on their weaknesses. Both of them, they're doing their part, but my belief is that my voice should be heard in Parliament. I don't know when I last heard of a member of Parliament speaking in Parliament, apart from the inaugural speech, which is not, for me, it's not attainable.
It's good you're coming to Parliament because largely your job is to make laws. You'll be spending much of your time in Lusaka here in Parliament, making laws. What type of reforms or what sort of reforms would you like to push for, especially you being a youthful member of Parliament if you win the elections?
Thank you very much. Well, greatly is that we have to invest more in research and development. That's the first thing. And then we have to lobby that our people, what our people's wish. Our people want laws which was to live ourselves. We want laws which will make a difference on the earth, not to block people. We have to read the Constitution. What laws will protect our people? What limits should we have as the people of Zambia? It still gets back to me, going back to the community, engaging the church. As a church, what submissions do you want me to put in place there? As Kabushi, how do you benefit? Which laws do you think the people of Kabushi will benefit from? So, as I sit into that parliament, I'll not sit there idly. I'll be able to engage the community. Kabushi has produced a lot of engineers, a lot of technical people, a lot of social workers, a lot of musicians. If, for example, we have to make certain laws so that the remunerations of our musicians or our people of Kabushi, the general workers, they need maybe increase the wage development fees. It's up to me now to look at the comment. What do you think? Kabushi is a urban area where with a lot of employment of our people being employed as casual workers, general workers. So it's up to me now to lobby the government and the powers that be that can we improve the conditions of our people. Kabushi is an urban constituency. So there are certain laws which I have to engage the community and say to it that I submit some motions, of course, with the support of other colleagues, members of parliament, and also learning from the colleagues who have been there for some time. Look, Parliament has a lot of members of Parliament and a lot of records there. So that's basically searching on what will be the need of our people.
It's very difficult for an aspiring member of Parliament to convince the people because, as opposed to a ruling, one that is serving, because one that is serving is able to point at one or two things that they've done. For you, as aspiring members of Parliament, what you sell are ideas. When I come, I'll do this and that. But from a practical point of view, you've grown up in Kabushi, you were raised in Kabushi, you did part of your education, in Kabushi. What have you done for the people of Kabushi? That even before you're a member of parliament, people can be able to point at that in his capacity as Mr. Sichinga at least is able to come up with this project that the people are benefiting from?
Thank you very much. Well, I'm grateful to the people of Kabushi, especially the church. We have done a lot of projects with the church in terms of helping them, in terms of building promotions, talent education for the choirs, the youthful guys who may need help, who are having the music promotions, and also at the school level. I'll give an example of Lubuto Secondary School. We have been privileged to be the vice chairperson. From 2011 up to date, every year we've been sponsoring some activities for our school in terms of buying some school utterances and also helping our colleagues who have left the Lubuto Secondary School and who need some bit of help. And also, if we feel they're small gestures, but they make a difference. As Lubuto High School Alumni Association, and through me as a vice chairperson, I've been leading a delegation of whenever there's a funeral of our colleague who has passed on or lost a parent or a daughter, we will lend some little support in terms of cushioning the bargain. And again, on the schools, my former primary school, Kaere, under Mkuba Ward, I did help the government in terms of building up the office, which had fallen off, and also trying to put bore at our school, and also forming up the Kaere Secondary School Alumni Association. And I've also engaged with a number of colleagues who left other secondary schools, like Masai Secondary School. We've partnered with them in terms of offering support at our Masai Secondary School, giving back to the community. Kabushi constituency has got 14 government schools. In these 14 government schools, we've been engaging the school manager, the school teacher, the school leaders on how we can give back and help in a smaller way, especially the orphans and vulnerable kids. That's why on every weekend, and on a timely basis, we do some visitation to these government schools and offer some help. A few months ago, I received a call from Lubuto Primary School, where the school had the school productive unit, where we had to come in and buy some bit of fertilizer so that they can do some gardening at that school. And also on the school grounds, the intercompany activities into sports. In my own capacity, as still I start at Sichinga, I've been sponsoring a number of activities. For example, cakes, Kabushi with Lubuto Madalas playing football. They will need some bit of refreshment to come in and render help. You see, and also buying some jerseys for some of the school, for the under 15 guys. Masala playing with Lubuto, KX playing with the Mine Masala. So all these activities, almost every weekend, as need arises, we do come on board and lend help. And also in the past 4 years, we made it a policy that every funeral across the 8 wards of Kabushi, we always hire at least one bus and buy a few food at a place where there's a funeral. We do offer funeral services free of charge. And when we've got enough resources, sometimes we even buy some coffins. And then the other help which we lend our community is to see to it that we give a talk. Not always money, but sometimes even just a talk. We go to a public gathering, we gather a few colleagues, we give them a talk. Look, I was like you. I was born and bred in Kabushi. I had to go to Lusaka. So do not despise change. Change is the only constant thing in this life. So go whenever an opportunity comes. If it is in Kitwe, in Solwezi, in Lusaka, go there, do some bit of work, and then give back to the community. So basically, for the past 4 years, we've been on the ground. We've been helping our people in a smaller way we can, across the constituencies, across the political parties, across the churches. Even when there's a wedding. Yesterday I was attending a wedding where I was privileged to be a guest of honor. We did lend help. On every wedding, we do lend some help in terms of counseling the new wedded couple and also giving them some seed funds to help them raise their family. Maybe give them 1,000 kwacha, or if money, even 5,000 kwacha. It depends on whatever little resources which we have. As you all know, this job of being a social worker, it's a continuous service to the community. So basically, I think my name is well known in Kabushi. Sometimes even when I park my vehicle, whenever the people see my Jeep, my red Jeep going, oh, honorable, honorable. So you can see that our people are able to appreciate whatever little help we're rendering to them. And of course, we do give little handouts here and there, but sustainably, we are trying to engage the community and trying to teach our people to understand, especially the aspect of entrepreneurship and IT. As you all know, we are living in an era which is more IT related, more social media related. So it's a matter of now engaging the community and also giving a talk. Almost every Saturday and Sunday, we are at a church encouraging the youths or not to abuse alcohol and not to involve themselves into junk activities. So just giving a talk, interacting with the people, I think it makes a difference.
How difficult, is it for one to aspire as member of parliament? From what I've listened to, with what you're doing so far and the projects you're doing so far, most of these projects are financially stressing, right? You're a youthful, gentleman that aspires for this level of leadership? How easy? Because for some people that are so youthful like you, they perhaps may not have 1,000 kwacha to give, to that person who's getting married, or to buy a coffin, to the family that is mourning. Help us understand how difficult or easy it is, especially that we're living in an era where politics has been commercialized. For a young person like you, how easy has it been to be on the ground and mobilize the support that you need?
Thank you very much. Yes, it's not so very easy to learn and to help and to aspire for public office, especially at parliamentary level. As you have put in, that politics is highly commercialized. To give an example, I had political ambitions from 2011, but many years ago, 15 years ago. I could not stand because I realized I didn't have some financial muscle in terms of running for a parliamentary seat. And I remember, fast forward, in 2021, again, I wanted to stand as an area member for Kabushi. I had a jovial interaction with Honorable Davis Mwira, the PFSG by then. I think we met in town, and I told, look, Honorable, I'm also vying for Kabushi. Can you manage to move a bulldozer in Kabushi? How much resources do you have? So you are very right that it's quite financially draining. And it's our prayer and hope that going forward, most of the people have an opportunity, especially the youth guys, so that you can be given some opportunities. You work, you raise a bit of funds, and then share with the community. But also without funds, Kabushi constituency, I want to talk about Kabushi itself. It's a very small in terms of size. Of course, there's a lot of numbers.
And intentionally and deliberately, I asked that question because the people of Kabushi and the last 10 years, when the last 5 to 7 years, when Honorable Bowman Lusambo was there, well, they were used to a certain kind of way that they used to live. And I'll give you an example. That I was in Kabushi with Honorable Bowman Lusambo, and at his house, you'd find that there was a lot of people lining up, to receive help. You find hundreds of people lining up in at his Ndola house there, receiving milieu and help. It was just given out like that, and obviously that is the political socialization that many of the people in Kabushi were being socialized to, that a member of parliament must help us, must come in when we need help. And so there's that particular background that is coming in. There's Honorable Bernard Kanengo. Others have said that he's a stingy member of parliament. He doesn't give like how Honorable Lusambo was given. And so they're making comparisons to how Lusambo was given and how perhaps he's given in his capacity. And that's why I asked how difficult it is, because you're dealing with people that are used to handouts, especially those in Kabushi where the bulldozer was.
Yes, it's very challenging in the sense that, yes, our people are used to handouts. But again, we are taught, I love the Catholic teachings that help the needy and help the less privileged. That's one angle which you can't fault Honorable Lusambo, despite his other weaknesses, but I think he was a cheerful giver. For me, that's the one thing I've learned from him. He might have his own challenges here and there, but what our people need is someone who is a cheerful giver. Somebody who can share the little which they have with the community. Not necessarily a lot of money. I'll give an example, not as rich as maybe Bowman Lusambo has, but with the little I have, I believe that people still appreciate me. For example, this morning, we're attending a church service at Kabushi UCZ, where they're having another Sunday. Obviously, we just gave one bag of meal, so one bag of maize, which we could manage. And people are very happy with it. The beauty of our people is that with whatever little income we share with them, they are very happy. I also heard the Honorable Poka Mulenga, the MP for Chingola, where we were saying that part of his parliamentary money, which he gets every 4 days whenever he's in Lusaka, he shares with the community. And that is what I would want to learn from. When I become an MP for Kabushi constituency from 2026 to 2031, I'll see to it that whatever little income I get from parliament, I share with the community. Even the current president, if you remember, President Church has been saying that almost the entire of his salary has been donating to the needy. So helping the needy is the core, which we as politicians must share. And that's the reason why it's always good sometimes that as you become a politician, you also maybe do some sort of investment, some entrepreneurial skills. We are living in a democratic nation which is open for people to do other opportunities, do some bit of business, raise some bit of money, share whatever little you have. To not, of course, live within your means, but learn to share. For me, that's the way I look at politics. Politics is the heart of helping the people, the needy. Also, through talking, the way I put it. It's not always to give them money. Sometimes in a chat with the people, with the community, people are very happy. You visit your former secondary school. For example, my teachers are very happy each time I go to Water Secondary School. Oh, one was nice, Sichinga nice. I don't even give them any money. But by virtue of just seeing me being available on them, they'll be very happy. Even at the funeral house, does not require you to maybe to spend a lot of money. Just going at the funeral house. But maybe one pin and 500 kwacha. But our people will be very appreciative. Even without any money, but just just thought of greeting you, our people will be very appreciative. We are social beings. And we know that we are living in an economy which is very tough and people understand. What is critical is to make yourself available, engage the community, interact with them. The more you interact with them, the more ideas we buy from them, the more opportunities they feel, and then the more they love you, the more they fall for you. I'm telling you right now that I'm a front runner in Kabushi constituency, not because I've got a lot of money, but it's because of my availability to the people, my interaction with the people.
But how are you measuring and coming to a conclusion that you're a front runner in Kabushi? What measure are you using to come up with that analogy?
Well, I'm the only politician as we speak now who has been to almost every church in Kabushi constituency engaging the people, who have been to almost every school within Kabushi constituency engaging the people, who has been to almost every market engaging the community, who always gets time almost every weekend. So my Saturday and Sunday is highly dedicated to people of Kabushi. I interact with the people. We are on the media like this one. We are giving us a platform to engage our community. I don't know how many members of Kabushi have come here who are aspiring to become MPs. In the current MP, how many opportunities they've had in terms of engaging with the community. Basically, I could tell you that even when you go on social media, talk about Kabushi, you go to Kabushi Community News, you go to Community News, you go to Ndora Township News, you realize that I'm topping in terms of the engagements. Even the opinion polls, when people are doing opinion polls on social media, I could tell that I'm performing very well. And I'm very grateful to the people of Kabushi for the confidence they're showing in me. Because I'm their own son, born and bred, and they've been seeing me. Frequently moving around, interacting with them, engaging them through the market, through the funerals, through the weddings, through the church activities, church festivals, church choir. We've been there for the past 4 years. So obviously, our people, but as members would put it, whatever is good, people always receive it. And when you go to people with well intentions, with well motives, good motives, saying, I'm your son, I want to work with you, I want to engage with you, I want to be your servant. So our people have been seeing my activities, people have been seeing me moving around. So our people are buying into our ideas. What you brought on the table is that, look, when I come here, a member of parliament, I'll provide love, I'll provide leadership, and I'll provide a service. There's nothing which is more than service above self. Serving the people, being available for them, engaging with them, whenever they are mourning, whenever they are celebrating, whenever they're having an activity, whenever they are at church. So all these engagements, we're engaging the community. I believe that come 2026, 13th of August, our people will definitely buy into ideas and they will cast that vote or whenever they will sit here.
What are people telling you in regards to how they're feeling over the governance style of the UPND? Obviously, when you're interacting with the people, they'll tell you, Honorable, if. What are people of the corporate board, especially in Kabushi, telling you about the UPND led by President Haka Indechlema?
Well, yeah, as I said, our people have got mixed feelings in the sense that, firstly, the UPND about the challenge in terms of load shedding. This is one of the things which is really critically affecting our people in Kabushi constituency. I can't lie. As I said earlier, that Kabushi is highly entrepreneurial area in terms of having the markets, having twin timbers, having the car wash machines here and there. So they're having a lot of challenges because electricity has been the burning issue for the past 3-4 years. I hope and trust that, God willing, it will be a thing of the past. And then, secondary, of course, they do appreciate the decentralization of the CDF projects. They're seeing some extensions in the number of government schools here and there. But in terms of liquidity, as you all know, Kababa is all known for daily activities, Ntamanga, one day at a time. So liquidity is on a low aspect. The economy is biting. I hope and trust that the government and the team, the cabinet, will try and find measures and ways now they can cushion the challenges of our people. And then our people are also appreciative of the government's stable environment. For example, I'll give an example, like someone has been moving around the constituency. I've never faced any harassment, any challenges. Wherever I go, I'm able to interact with the people, both the UPND, the PF, the other opposition political parties and the church. Each time of a public function, whenever we go to the police, for example, we're having another function in October, we always get express permits from the police. They always come to police our activities. So that also peaceful environment is being enjoyed. But of course, there are also a few teething problems. For example, the CDF implementation. People still feel they are not receiving adequate projects in terms of, we could talk the figure being over 30 million kwacha. But you know what the Kabushi projects, basically, you can talk of one project, which is about a local police post. And then people say, but look, we're talking of 30 million. The only project we've seen with our visible eyes, so this one makes a difference. That's one police post across the 8 wards. So those are areas where we need now to engage the community and see to it that we, look, things do change and there will be obstacles, there will be challenges, but let us always remain positive and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, you mentioned that one of the issues that the people are telling you is issues of not being money in the economy on the copper belt, and you say lack of liquidity there. The UPND have nicknamed the copper belt as the Bali belt. President Hakainde Hichilema boasts of bringing back life, onto the copper belt, and he says there's a lot of economic activities happening on the copper belt. The, resumption of KCM or PANI, Shaft 28, and all these projects that have been done. The expectation is that these are producing fruits. The employment of thousands of health workers from Kabushi, from within your constituency, the employment of teachers as well, and some, into ZNS and other areas. And so one would think that there's a lot of productivity and there's a lot of liquidity, in Kabushi, especially that it's predominantly a copper belt where it's a mining town and the people are enjoying the fruits of the UPND. You don't think that's the case?
Well. Yes, Ndola is the hub of the copper belt, Ndola and Kalalai. The mining activities you've mentioned, they are mostly happening in in Kitwe and Chilawumba and Chingola. Those are the mining areas in Folila.
So there's no ripple effect to Kabushi?
Not very much, but just a bit. A few of our youths, as I said earlier on, that change is the only constant thing in life. So a number of our youths have migrated into Kitwe, into Mfolila, and into Chingola, and into Chilawumba, to see to that they also maybe get a fair share of those job opportunities. But they have not been coming on a silver platter. As you all know now, we are living in an era which is highly industrialized. So in terms of job creating opportunities, these mining giants, most of them are using machinery at the expense of their human capital. So we still have a lot of unemployment opportunities in our people, even the teachers. Each time I mingle with people in the community, just like yesterday when I was at the Barre site, one of my colleagues gave me a lift, who is a teacher. My wife is also a teacher. She's not yet posted. Would have said, look, my wife has been staying for the past 5 years, has been missing out in these teaching recruitment opportunities. The other day I met a lady who's a nurse. For the past 5 years, she has been missing out on the recruitments. So we still have got a lot of challenges. The unemployment levels in Kabushi are still quite high, but we thank the government for those opportunities in terms of employing teachers and employing nurses, but still the numbers are still high. We're making an appeal to the government that these clinics and these hospitals are still understaffed. Just yesterday on Saturday, I was touring Lubuto Clinic in Lubuto Ward. I could still tell that we still need some more numbers in these clinics. With these expansions coming on, we still need some more numbers. So my appeal to the government, to His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema and his team, is that we still need more opportunities for our people in terms of the schools, in terms of the hospitals, and also the entrepreneurship skills. I like it the way the president put it, that let's give these CDF projects to the people of that constituents. But I still believe that we are not giving these opportunities to our people in these communities. Some of them who are doing these projects are actually important. When I the community is building this clinic here, I would say, this clinic, who is building this school 1 by 3 classroom block? So I'm making an appeal.
Do you think it's a lack of capacity? Because that's the idea of CDF, that the people that live in that particular locality must be the ones to benefit. But don't you think it's a lack of capacity when the citizens of that community are not participating? Because these are open bids; they bid for these projects to so you don't think it's lack of capacity that is lacking in Kabushi for your youth?
Yeah, it should be lack of capacity, but again, it gets back now to the powers that be, the councils, the members of parliament, and the other leaders to come on board and start educating these people. The CEC, the NCC, National Council for Construction, and the EIZ, we should have been having these joint meetings. For example, it's up to the member of parliament on the powers that be, these ministries, to lobby. Let them go on the ground. For example, come to Kabushi, go to the secondary school, have a town hall meeting, guide people not to form a company. The Pakra people come on board. Let's have a public meeting with someone from Pakra, somebody from EIZ, somebody from NCC. Let's teach our people how to go about, how to form a company, how to get your TP identification for your company, and how to empower these people, how to educate these people. It still gets back to what my other teacher was telling me, my former teacher again. He says, Mr. Sichinga, look, as you go to parliament, lobby that Kabushi should also have his own university, lobby for Kabushi University. Let's turn one of these secondary schools, maybe let's turn Kaere Secondary School into a university, where you can have our people now doing entrepreneurship skills, our people doing trade activities. Once you put it within the community, within the compound, then people buy into that idea. Our people start getting trainings. As they get trainings, they will have practical experience.
You spoke of the enabling political environment that the UPND has created. You say you speak here tonight that you're not being harassed. When you ask for a permit, when you notify the police of your activities, there is political party players. They complain that the UPND-led government through the police, in fact, they say that the police are an extension of the UPND because of how they behave without, with them not granting them permission to go and protest. Don't you think the reason for why you've been finding it so easy is because maybe the UPND see you as a weak candidate, and so you're not a factor, and that's the reason for why they're giving you all the space to speak with the people of Kabushi?
Well, it's not in that perspective. It's maybe because of the role I've taken, non-confrontational. For example, when we launched our foundation 2023 to 2024, the police opposed our idea of having a march past. We want to do a march past from roundabout Masala Primary School to Main Market into Musakasonga Stadium. The police said, no, Mr. Sichinga, look, having a march past from Masala Secondary School to Musakasonga Stadium will create a lot of congestion and unnecessary antagonization. The best you can do is let your people just assemble in the stadium, Musakasonga Stadium. And we had to admit to that. The police are human beings like us. So of course, sometimes they do oppose our activities. Again, we had another end-of-year party activity. We wanted to have it at a public, like a public rally at Kaloko grounds. And then they said, no, Mr. Chinga, having a public rally in this era and in this might create unnecessary animosity and unnecessary tension. Maybe do an in-house. Then that to a bit, just to move from Kaloko grounds, we moved into Luwoto at Greenpoint, where I had a function. So basically, our police needs constant engagements. We're having a 40th birthday in October. We've engaged the police. Just yesterday, I received a call from the officer in charge at Masala Central Police, where she was telling me that, no, we're aware, we've received your request. How do you want it to be policed? How do you want it to be done? So it's not a sign of work and sign of engagement and the people I'm dealing with. When I tell, look, I'm inviting the church. Obviously, the government knows that where there's a church and where there is the order and where there is with enough marshal, enough support and enough security to protect you, they would give you room to do to that. I think Honorable Kalaba has been given some payments here and there. Of course, other political parties have not been given that payment. I'm making an appeal to the police and the powers that be, the Ministry of Home Affairs, that let us level the playing ground. Especially as we're going to the general elections. Our investors are watching, our donors are watching, our embassies are watching. Let us open it up. Let's open the platform. Let everyone sell their ideas. Let people themselves accept or reject our ideas.
Honorable Munia Zulu arrested. Honorable Mabonga is on bond. Honorable Malanji arrested, the seat nullified. Honorable Boman Lusambo arrested, the seat nullified. Emmanuel JJ Banda arrested and now is in exile. All these individuals say that the political playing field is unfavorable for them, is unfavorable for this country, and most of them have been arrested and charged on trump-up charges, according, to them. Just a few days ago, the Transparency International Zambia did issue a statement to the effect that the selective application, in terms of the selective application in the rule of law. I'd like to get your general overview of how the police have applied, the law, especially when it comes to dealing, with politicians. And I'll give you practical examples. The opposition said today that, for example, Minister responsible for education, Honorable Douglas Yekalima, called the Bemba people, whatever name he called them. He wasn't arrested. SG of the Patriotic of the UPND, Batuke Emenda, called the Archbishop of Lusaka, the Lucifers of Lusaka. He was reported. The issue went to court, but it has gone nowhere for hate speech. But some of these members of parliament have gone into jail for some of the comments related to what these other ministers and officials of the UPND are saying. What is your overview of how the police have conducted themselves and how the rule of law has been applied in this beautiful country of ours?
Yes, it's quite saddening, and it leaves much to be desired, in the sense that the president he has been emphasizing. I think each time he's doing a swearing ceremony and each time he's addressing the media, each time he's got a public forum engaging the community, he has been telling the police that make sure that you apply the law equally and fairly, and also give bond to those who deserve to be bonded. And as they go to these courts, give them room to appeal and let them be bonded if it means they are. I'll give an example like Honorable Lafayette Nakachinda. I think he's currently sitting on a board, is it? It should be on bail.
Bail pending appeal.
Bail pending appeal, yes. It's my prayer and hope that even the judiciary should let us not create this perception that the law is being applied unfairly or selectively. Let us give each and every person an opportunity with the presumption of being innocent until proven guilty. And also, the police. The president is saying any one of us is entitled to a fair trial. If it affects the UPND, remember there was an issue was it in Kabwe recently, where there was that Simfuka who was killed, who was murdered there. Enoch Simfuka was murdered there, and then people in Kabwe, people raised eyebrows here and there until the police, out of pressure, obviously they had to come in and also arrest our dear sister. So basically, if the police can really act fairly and maybe give all these people opportunity to be summoned by the police. I think recently Honorable Chavinga was summoned by the police over certain sentiments. We are still waiting for the results. It's my prayer and hope that people would want to see a fair selection and a fair application of the rule of law, as the president always says it. It's only the president whose immunity is intact as at now. The ministers, the ruling party officials and cadres, they are not immune to be prosecuted. So making an appeal to the police, the judiciary, is that let us apply the law equally. Whoever breaks the law must be punished. Let our people not see that our law is being bent on certain individuals. So that's my appeal I can make to the people, especially as we go towards the general election. Our people are seeing, our people are able to tell, that this one makes sense, this one does not make sense. So, Mr. President, your cabinet, the executive, the legislature, let us make sure that there is equal application of the rule of law. Each one of us is given an opportunity. Let us enjoy our freedoms, all of us. Let us not be selective.
There's been 8 parliamentary by-elections that have happened. The UPND have won 7 out of the 8 parliamentary, by-elections. But the recent held by-elections in Mfowe, where Honorable Mabonga was Member of Parliament, the UPND won this particular seat. There was a report done by an independent civil society that, proved of allegations of vote buying by the UPND. In fact, it's not the first time that they're saying that the UPND are into vote buying, and are doing dubious things to win this particular by-election. It's an independent, observer that, produces the reports, and this is a Catholic-based, independent observer that goes into these, by-elections. As we come into the 2026, elections, in fact, they even go on and appeal to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, to be impartial and show their teeth, in ensuring that they punish offenders of these, the people that break laws, in these elections. Are you confident in the Electoral Commission of Zambia to conduct a peaceful election, a fair election, an election that allows for all of you candidates to play fair as you go to 2026?
Thank you very much. You see, the beauty of democracy is that people always have something to say. People always have different opinions to give here and there. But if you look at from 1991, when we formed the multi-party politics, the MMD, in their leadership as the ruling party by then, I think they won a number of by-elections. Just like the Patriotic Front, before they lost power, they kept on winning the by-elections. Usually, by-elections are tilted towards the ruling party. And usually the ruling party would want to put a lot of muscles in a by-election to show that they've got power and they've got the capacity. Most of the ministers will be camped in one area, trying to defend that seat or trying to grab that seat, which is normal for our people. But vote buying is not good, and I'm hoping and trusting that the ACZ, as they're doing these stakeholder engagements, they must sensitize our people that let us not sell our voting rights, because our voting is a human right activity, which is God-given human right. So whatever little income someone is given, whatever little money you're given, do not sell your voting right. As you go towards the general election 2026, I think the ECZ is now busy engaging the stakeholders. Obviously, as I put on earlier on, that the ruling party usually win these by-elections. But in the general election, it's a different case. It's each one for himself and God for us all. So as we go towards the 2026 general election, I know the ECZ will have a lot of challenges, but let them keep on engaging the community and engaging the...
I also invest in vote protection, because what the opposition are saying is that they want to invest in vote protection to ensure that their vote is protected ahead of the elections. Are you investing and contemplating on that as well?
Yes, very much.
For possibilities that your election might be stolen from you.
Not necessarily being stolen, but making sure that these presiding officers, they do not make certain mistakes which must be corrected before they are announced. When the party formed government in 2011, obviously had to invest into the PVT, part of vote tabulation. I believe in the UPND, in 2021, when they won the elections, they also invested a lot in PVT. Even me, as I speak here, I still start as Sichinga. As I aspire to stand as a member of parliament for Kabushi constituency, I'm telling my colleagues on the ground to say, look, let's have, in these wards, in these branches, at every polling station, let's have our own people. And I'm making an appeal actually to our people that ECZ is opening up their doors from 13th of October to 11th of November for the voter verification, voter transfer, and voter registration. Let us make sure that in every polling station, we've got our agents. In every public place, let's have our own people. So that when the time for tallying comes, after elections, we protect our votes. Not out of buying, not out of being sold, but also the common mistakes. If there is no presiding people to check, to verify the results, obviously some of the results might be, maybe we say, Titus Sichinga here has got 90 votes. The other opponent has got 20 votes. Sometimes for people are tired. That voting day, it's quite tiresome, and it requires a lot of vigilance. So I'm making an appeal that every political party worth its salt, this is the right time now to start making those plans in terms of having the power of voter tabulation.
As we conclude and as we count down to the elections of 2021, again, the people are asking of Kabushi, why you?
Oh, 2026 general election, why me? Well, thank you very much. Well, why me? One, I'm born and bred member of Kabushi community. I was educated.
The people, you can speak to your people.
I was educated by the people of Kabushi. I spent my 20 years moving from one area to the other across the 8 wards of Kabushi, trying to see to earn a living. And the people of Kabushi welcomed me. In the past 5 years, when I formed the Titus Chinga Foundation, you, the people of Kabushi, have been welcoming me through the church, through the funerals, through the weddings, through any public events, through sports activities. I've been your son. I've been your brother. I've been your relative. You've been welcoming me. So as I come on board, I'm coming on board only on 3 critical components. 1, mutende nechiwote ndete chiwote no mutende mkabushi. 2, ubuyantanshe, development. 3, where there's love, there's no hate. My politics are issue-based. My politics will be to see to lead that we have got development in Kabushi. And also, I'll make sure that I have a stakeholder engagement with the people of Kabushi. We'll be having quarterly engagements. I'll engage the WDC committees. I'll engage the Constituent Development Committee. I'll engage the church. I'll engage the marketeers. My coming in as a servant, as your area member of Kabushi, member of parliament, from 2026 to 2031, will be to see to it that we advocate for development, we speak for you in parliament, we engage you in the community, we mourn with you, we celebrate with you, at whatever interval, whenever time and chance allows, we will be there to listen to your views, to buy into ideas, and have an open door policy to see to that every idea coming on board will buy into it, as long as it's meaningful and it's on development. It will be a development agenda activities, and we'll be rating ourselves as we go on. Every quarterly, we've got a meeting here, and we'll treat all the 8 words equally, because love does not choose. As we put it, love God with all your heart, and then love your neighbor as you love yourself. So, critically, I'm bringing love on the table.
Mr. Titus Chinga, thank you so much for making time to speak with the people of Zambia and with the people of Kabushi.
I'm grateful to the management of Costa and the Diamond TV and the entire team here. We've been our friends. We are grateful. Please keep on giving us these opportunities so that we can interact with our people. As you all know, that the media is the fourth estate, and you cannot work in isolation. Politicians must work hand in hand with the media so that our people can buy into our ideas and we can see development.
We wish you the best ahead of the elections of 2026.
I'm grateful. Thank you very much, my brother.
Well, there you have it. My guest has been Titus Chinga, aspiring member of parliament for Kabushi, who has explained to the people of Zambia and the people of Kabushi his vision for Kabushi and things that he wants to do for the people of Kabushi. On behalf of the entire production crew, thank you so much for watching. See you again next week.